There is love,
love in this place.
whenever two
Or
or
more of us gathered in His name.
I found
The world is all the same.
There is love,
Love in this place.
whenever two
Or more of us.
A pleasant night to everyone, wherever you're joining from, whether you are in one of our Caribbean islands, or you're in Zimbabwe, or the US, or even England. Welcome to another episode of Level Up Your Marriage with myself, Paul Blake, and my beautiful wife, Racquel Blake. And tonight, we have a special treat for you. We have a guest with us tonight, very experienced person, man full of wisdom, and we are looking forward to him sharing tonight on this platform. We will continue our discussion from last week, or the last time we were looking at before we say I do, looking at some of the stuff that we need to discuss before marriage takes place. And it was indeed an interesting discussion, and so much that persons were asking and requesting that we do it again. And so we want to continue that discussion this evening, looking at the important elements of before we say I do. I will ask Raquel at this time to introduce our guest tonight.
Uh, Good evening, everybody. So good to be here. Welcome back again. Yes, we are in for a treat this evening. Soon you will see our guest, our special guest. As Paul says, he's a man full of wisdom. I'm sure when you see him, you'll be very familiar with him. Those of you who are watching, he's no stranger to us. He's no stranger to those in the Caribbean, the US, all over Jamaica. So I want to introduce you to him. So this evening we'll have Trevor E. S. Smith join us. He's an author, a people skills and performance enhancement specialist with Success with People Academy. He's a hands-on practitioner in the areas of interpersonal relations, marketing, sales, HR, and management processes. He is married for over 5 decades. He's married for 50 years. And we based on our topic, we know that
Yes,
he has
sir.
a number of things to share with us, some tips. So we want you to listen keenly, get your pen and your pencils, because we're going to be having a riveting, exciting, and interesting discussion this evening. Brother Smith, Trevor Smith, is an author of Seven Keys to a lasting relationship: How to Avoid a Broken Heart. He's also authored another book called Success in Marriage. He's also certified in the use of extended disc and also a certified behavioral coach. In his general day-to-day activities and as a business professional, he presents unique perspective on interpersonal relationships, leadership, team building, customer service, technology, and time mastery. So this gentleman is also a faithful Christian. He's a teacher and leader in the kingdom of God and has a steady hand as he contributes to the success and development of individuals and families and the church. So we want you to extend a warm welcome to Trevor E. S. Smith.
I'm not hearing anything. Sorry.
Welcome. You're online. Welcome, welcome,
Hi,
welcome.
hi, hi. Okay. So I didn't hear the introductions. I'm not sure where we are in the
Everything
process.
that you know about yourself. You're married for 50 years. You're an expert. You have written 2 books, and based on all of those other things that we know about you, oh, you're still not hearing us? Are you hearing us now? Wow. Uh,
I'm I'm hearing you, but I'm not hearing the others. So I'm hearing you.
Yes. All right. Until we get that got sorted out, we will continue our discussion. So the last time we were on, we were looking at
Uh,
before we say I do,
yes.
and there are several points that came out of our discussion. We looked
nothing.
at the whole idea of couples leaving and cleaving and what it means in terms of the marital relationship. We looked at commitment, committing to a better life, and also to build emotional security within the marriage. For this particular discussion this evening, we want to look at the significance of spiritual unity and what it means for the relationship. As a marriage counselor, one of the things that I am realizing, or which that I deal with almost on a daily basis in dealing with couples, is that couples a lot of times tend to overlook the importance of having spiritual unity in the relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and it often leads to several challenges. It leads to persons having that kind of a conflict, even sometimes in terms of what persons believe. And so spiritual unity, I believe, is important to a successful marriage, a successful relationship, and should be talked about before the wedding day. Should be explored if persons are, if both parties are on the same page in terms of their spiritual outlook, in terms of their spiritual unity, even in terms of what they believe, about the the way that God sees marriage, the way that upholds this union. I think is a very
Right.
important discussion that needs to be had. That cannot, you can't afford to overlook how important this is, because marriage, as we know it, is a symbol really of God's faithfulness. So much that when we look at Ephesians chapter 5 and from verse 22 reading through to the end, one of the things that we will pick up is that God holds marriage so important that
Can we
he
try this now?
uses it as a picture of Christ and the church. And so that for me, is a very important thing that he holds marriage in that place where he compares it as the relationship that
That's
he
right.
has with
Thank you,
Christ, the
Sid.
relationship that he has. And one of the things that brings out is the unity of Christ in how he
Can you hear
values
me?
the church and so forth. So we want to look at, yes, Brother Smith, we are here. We are hearing you. You hearing us?
Hello?
You hearing us, Brother Smith? Doesn't seem like he's hearing us. In Ephesians chapter 5, 31 and 32, Paul describes the church as the bride of Christ. Christ is the groom, and the church is his bride. And one of the things that Paul points out is that
Brother Paul, are you hearing me?
in Jesus is, yes, Brother Smith, I'm able to hear you. You're hearing us?
Sorry.
I am hearing you. I'm hearing you. Brother Dex, can you do something about that? Because he's not hearing us.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I, so
Oh,
I'm in another device.
all right. I think you need to tell him to close one of his devices. He's on two devices. So just send him a message asking him to close one of his devices. Yes, we are hearing you. You hearing us? Okay. All right. We are hearing you now. We are hearing you. Okay. All right. We really apologize for those glitches. As Murphy's law says, whatever will go wrong, but the discussion will still continue. All right. So just to give you a recap, Brother Smith, we have last week, the last time we were on, we were looking at some of the elements of before we say I do, some of the things that we are, have to talk about. And we looked at the whole idea of unity in the relationship, the importance of understanding what it means to live and cleave, and also the importance of building a life of commitment in the relationship and emotional security. And this evening, we want to pick up from looking at the spiritual, basically the spiritual significance of marriage and the spiritual unity that should exist with couples, and the importance of discussing this particular element in the relationship even before you get into the marriage. Because as I was discussing before, is that in terms of my counseling and preparing couples for marriage, I find that a lot of times there is a disparity where spiritual unity is concerned. Two people are sometimes even at the very opposite of the spectrum, and that in itself can cause conflicts in the marriage later on. I when Raquel and I got married, or even before we got married, we really had several discussions about our spiritual outlook and what we wanted in terms of our spiritual lives individually and also together collectively. And I am finding that as we mature in our relationship, that has been a very very important element in our growth as a couple, in terms of how we see, how we view God, how we view His Word, how we allow His Word to direct our lives, and how we allow Him to make be a part of our decision making process. Even in terms of how we fellowship together as a couple. We are always going out at different events where the church is concerned. It's rarely we are apart. We're church functions, worship, and whatever has to do with worship, we are always together along with Timothy, and I think that that in itself has helped to to build our relationship as a couple, and so we want to explore some of that tonight, and also some other aspects. But since as you are the visitor, even before Racquel makes her opening comments, I want to hear your take on that particular element.
Um, well, it's obviously critical. I find that it's not a guarantee. Okay, so uh,
Hmm.
we're not saying that um, if you are Christians, if Christians get married, that um, they marriage is guaranteed to succeed. But it does give you an extra edge. I think that's my view. That
Hmm.
adds a dimension. So actually, I was just going through this thing in terms of the 7 keys to the lasting relationship, the book that was written uh,
Hmm.
more than a decade ago now. And in it, there is a checklist which I would like to go through. I think it would help the discourse. Some of it anyway.
Mhm.
Sometimes when we do the
Hmm. Yes, no
mar-
problem.
marriage relationship, people say, "Do you really want to get married or not?" Because the checklist is pretty stringent. But the rationale that I give in terms of why um, I believe that the list is important and why it asks some serious questions is that if you see the pain, and I have experienced it, I have been invited to come and divide up the property, with friends, close friends. That situation is painful, right? If you see someone,
Hmm.
because literally while I was online waiting here, someone sent me a text to say, my marriage is in, a shambles. That's not a healthy situation. So um, it's best then to start on the right foot. And so that's what I'm saying. So like a program like this is important for us to
Yeah.
get to a place where we are saying, okay, fine. Before you say I do, ask some questions, go through some things. Don't rush it. There's a nice song that says, get to know them before That's right. Yeah, yeah. Take time to know. That's
Take time to know her.
yeah.
And or him.
Him.
Yes, yes,
All right. So yeah. So
yes.
Racquel.
I like that checklist element. I like that checklist element, which we want to explore some more of it a little bit later on. But I like that checklist element because as you rightly said, it's not a guarantee, but it puts you on a safer path. We want to bring in Racquel into the discussion at this
Right.
time. Racquel.
Yes, very interesting so far. Definitely. You see, the like Brother Smith says, there the fact that two persons are Christians, it doesn't necessarily it's not a full guarantee, but it's a plus, it's an edge, and it's important because the element of commonality, and you're talking about alignment. It's important that there's some alignment. We spoke about compatibility the last time. We spoke about the importance of understanding the element of leaving and cleaving. And so this in discussion this evening, we want to talk about, yes, those points from the checklist. We want to talk about the spiritual alignment. God is the author, He is the creator of the institution, and He knows what is best. He knows the strategies and the techniques and tips that will make a marriage successful. And it's important that we search out the scriptures. It's important that we look for the guidelines that He has left in the scripture. Look for the guidelines that He have, persons who have been in relationships in the Bible, the examples that are set for us. So I definitely agree with you about the importance of spiritual alignment. People are concerned about, the funds, they're concerned about the looks, but sometimes they forget the matter of spiritual alignment.
Yeah.
There must be some commonality in terms of the spiritual, because you don't want one. It's as if when you have spiritual misalignment, It's a case where you have one person going to the left and one person going to the right. And for sure, that will not augur well for any relationship. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's true. You know, I like that term that you used a while ago, spiritual misalignment. I think is a first I've heard it. I went you know copyright it. Yeah, no, the whole idea of spiritual misalignment, I think it's so very critical in terms of how we prepare couples, and even in looking at our own relationship, that spiritual misalignment is almost like a poison. That when you're not spiritually aligned to your spouse, yeah, it opens the door for so many different things.
Mm-hmm.
And if we have this conversation before the wedding day, I think we will save ourselves a whole world of trouble. So, Brother Smith, you spoke about your checklist. let, let
Okay.
us let us hear some more about that checklist.
Yeah. As I say, um, it's a paragraph. It's one of the chapters in the 70s. So let us look at some of it. The first thing I was saying in it
Mhm.
is the same where exactly where you are going. It talks about um, a perspective on God. What is it? When you I'm presuming that you're not meeting the person today and you're getting married tomorrow, right? So you're going to
No,
have some kind of interaction with them, some kind of
Mhm.
definitely.
when you raise the issue
Yes,
of
true.
God and a divinity and so on, what is the response to that? Do they move away from it totally? Is it, you know, um, when I get myself in trouble early in the piece, just say that, um, some women, some have a fear. I suppose I don't know if it's a mother instinct or whatever it is, but there's a feeling that they can correct the person, they can change, they can make that huge difference. So even though the person has absolute
Yes.
interest in God, and when we talk about spiritual matters, it's as far as the east is from the west, they can feel that because of the love and so on, that after they get married, he's going to be um, a Christian and more, orderly, even though before
Hmm.
this is
True.
furthest from his mind. So that's one of the things that we are saying is that the first uh, piece on the checklist is that what are the thoughts about God and spiritual matters and uh, God's plan for us and our response to that. So that's number one. If in the dialogue that is not a topic, if there is actually even resistance to it, then for me, that's a no-no. That's number one. Number two, really, is similar. Is what are the
Hmm.
thoughts about the institution? So we're looking at now who created the institution, and then we want to look at the institution itself.
Hmm.
What does this person think about the
Yeah.
institution? So we're dating and we're talking and everything is fun, etc. But there is never ever any dialogue about getting married. So yeah, we might want to live together. You might all of those possibilities, but the idea of marriage and respect for that institution is not there. And the problem with that is if you do not respect the institution itself, I'm not talking about love or what, just the fact that marriage is an institution, the idea of marriage is that it's a commitment for life. If those things are not firm, then the first day my wife burns the food, I'm taking up or sending her back home to her mother. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm just saying to you that they stick to it
Yeah.
this idea that this is an institution, this is a commitment.
Before you go on to number three, Rasmus, let me ask you, because you said something that is very important.
Yeah.
Do you believe that persons can get married and not so one, you have a couple that's married, but one of one person, even though willing to get married, does not respect the institution of marriage.
Yeah, of
Maybe
course.
maybe just getting married because
Getting married.
the other person just maybe give you a ultimatum or something like that.
Not only that, again, it might sound as if I'm picking on women, not at all. But some persons just want to come, in a situation where they can get a child or get out of the mother's house or so on. A lot of persons get married and they have
Mm,
there's nothing more. They're not even thought seriously about what does it mean. What does this
mhm.
mean? It's
Yeah.
basically, I like you and you like me, and yeah, okay, let's get together and yeah, let's do this thing. So those are fundamental things.
So
And
you have yes,
I'm just saying
yeah,
that. I
true,
mean,
true.
here in my
Raquel,
thing is lasting. My thing is about lasting relationships, right? So what it means is that
yes, that's true, that's true, that's true.
in a relationship,
I see Raquel itching.
No, no, I'm listening keenly, and I'm wondering if Brother Smith could turn up his volume a little, so that our audience can hear them. If you have any
right?
questions, if you have any
Okay.
comments, feel free to drop them in the chat.
Please.
Because
Okay.
it's some good stuff being dropped here for us. But if we wanted to, if there's any way the volume can go up a little more, we'll
For me to
definitely
shout then, that's all right. No,
much better. Yes.
all right. Okay, fine. I would. I
Yeah,
would.
yeah, that's all right, that's all right.
I would speak
So
up.
so
Okay.
so so there must be a respect of the institution that you're saying, brother Trevor, because that is fundamental to the relationship lasting.
Absolutely.
Both persons must have I would want to say a godly respect for marriage, for the institution of marriage.
Yeah. Family God's way is one
Yeah,
of the most that I
that
have.
yes,
So yeah, when we're talking
yeah,
about
that's true.
when
All
we're
right,
talking, okay, all right. So um, see, here's the other
number
thing.
three.
Yeah. Um, I look at it, it would say, what would it be like living in the long term with this individual? That is the other thing you have to look at. Remember, my focus is lasting, right? So,
Wow.
yeah, so um, six pack. What if the six pack turns to be a punch bowl? You know, and what if the Coca Cola turns into a 2 liter? Huh? And then let's go a little deeper. Let us go a little deeper.
A
Here's
little
here's
deeper,
here's
please.
one.
Yes.
Here's one of them that's really serious now.
Hmm.
What if the person got ill and was bedridden?
Yes,
A
yes,
year, 2 years into the marriage, the person got ill and was bedridden. What would you do? Would you be willing to take care of that person? Hmm? That's that's what we're talking about.
yes.
So look at because well, the Bible says for better or for worse. Yeah, we are going to it once in a
You know,
while. But what if worse came?
Brother Smith and Raquel, interestingly, just stick up in right there. About, I didn't remember to tell Raquel this. Probably about 2 3 weeks ago, I did a wedding, and when we got to that section, for better or worse, I won't tell you whether which one of the persons did it, but the one of the persons getting married had a real issue saying for better or worse. I mean, this is something that I have seen in movies. Would have seen it on Facebook with persons acting out skits. But I mean, I had a real life situation when I got to the part of the vow that said for better or worse. I mean, the the individual really could not almost get past it. And I said, but imagine this is real, and so it's true that for better or worse is important.
Hmm.
Very.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, no. Go ahead. All right. Yeah. So here, but actually, it's interesting because right following the that question is the fourth one, which really is about Um, how is this partnership going to be financed? Important question. How is this partnership going to be
Hmm.
financed?
True.
Let me
True.
let me get I suppose kind of granular, deep into the situation. Let us be realistic, right? Marriage is a partnership. I think we should agree with that, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So let
Yes.
us look at another partnership. Let us say we are going into business, right? So you and Raquel going to go into a business, right? Are you looking to fail in the business? No, right?
Not at all.
Okay. So um, you would want your partner in the business to contribute to its success, right?
Yes. True.
You
True.
want the partner in the business to complement you where you might be falling down, but together we're going to be stronger than by ourselves. That's the idea. The idea should be that I'm entering this partnership to be better off than before. I want you to follow me because I want to, this is important that we look at it. That when we enter into a business, the intention, let us say, is wealth is going to be one of the things that you want, or if you want to provide services, whatever it is, you want to leave the place better. You want to be better off after the partnership than you were before. Is, is that agree? Is there agreement on that?
Yes, you definitely want to be better off than before. Yes.
All right. Okay. Good. So one of the things that we need to do is to ask that question: is this person that I am going to say I do to permanently? Really, that because at the time you make the vow, it should be permanent. Is this person going to make my existence better off than before? Am I going to be better off as a result of this commitment that I'm making, or am I going to be worse off? It's a tough question, and it sound very cynical, but you have to ask the question. So, um, the question then, for example, I'm not saying that it is not possible, but how is this going to be financed? If this person that we are getting married to um, uh, is in seemingly incapable or not interested in earning a living or being able to provide. So let us assume another question that we have here. This is tough talking, so I'm surprised. I'm not sure if we get invited back. But here's the tough talk now. So, is this union planning to have children? Okay. If you're planning to have children, would you like your children to be
Mhm.
better off than you were? Or do you understand the implication of
Yes, that's true.
education and the cost of education and whatever it is? You know what it is to rear a child in this time. So that's why the question of the finances are important. Yes. What is it? How is it that this is going to work out? What am I doing in terms of the children that we plan to have? Are we crippling them from the start because of the economics? Am I saying that poor people can't? No, that's not where I'm going. As long as we are willing to work and that everybody's committed. But I'm just saying to you, have some ideas. Don't just walk in blind because of the six pack or the Coca-Cola. That's not going to pay the bills. Right? So as I say,
Yes, true.
it's a tough talk that this is about,
So,
but I
so
want people to understand that when you say I do, it's important.
it's
You have to
important.
think about these things. It's not just you just get up one day and yeah, I like how you look, and you get some sweet talk, and you're there, and then you start to get miserable because I'm telling you, going to bed hungry puts pressure on people and your relationship. You understand that
Yeah, that's
when you
true.
can't pay
That's
your
true.
bills and you stress and whatever it is, you start to take it out on your partner and the relationship may have problems.
So
Money worries is a problem. It's a
So how
stress. I'm telling you.
money worries? Yeah,
Go ahead,
you said
Racquel.
money worries is a problem. Yeah. So how can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Right.
yes.
So how would you respond when somebody says, "Why, why are you focusing so much on the financial? God will take care of us."
Yeah, that was actually the question I was going to
Right.
ask because
Right.
we hear
Why
that.
have to be
Why are
greedy?
you focusing so much on the financial?
Not that it not that's not not that is not important, because it's
Right.
definitely important. The Bible talks about the fact that money answers every need, and that there's value in money. But
Okay.
how would you put for somebody who is skeptical about that part and says, no man, you're making too much of fuss over that. How would you address that?
All right. So that's number four. I spoke about God and our
Mm-hmm.
relationship with God. Nobody never complain about that, right? Never take a fuss about that. We talk about the institution and say
Yes.
how important it is. Nobody never complain of why I
They
make a
never
fuss
complain
about
about
that.
that one.
I talk about don't just watch the body, and say, make sure that you are fit, right? Nobody never complain about that, right? This is just number four of, I think it's about 10. So all I'm saying is understand, and I'm not saying do not, I'm just saying understand the
Could you could you
importance
could,
and
could you be
the
a little more
impact.
emphatic or louder so that the audience can hear? Understand.
And understand the impact of money worries on your life, on your lifestyle. You can't go nowhere because you don't have money. You can't entertain yourself. You can't look after the children. Pick maybe a ball because you don't have no food. All of that plays out in terms of whether your relationship lasts or not. Just one of the factors. All I'm saying to you is just think about it. Just have a plan. Just
Have a
have a
plan.
plan. Just have a plan. Yes. And the plan can be prayer. I know a plan with that. I'm a person of faith. I believe in
That's
it.
right.
Right?
Have a
But
plan.
God tells you though that you need to do something as well. It's not just
Yes.
pray.
You
You
can't
have to have
pray. You have to have
with
works with the
action.
prayer.
Exactly. All right. So maybe I go there. Um I should stop then or not. Okay. All right, let me go to another one.
Yeah, go ahead.
By the way, yeah, compatibility. And really is a background. And again, I hope that when people are listening, I'm not turning them off to say that okay, you can come from Russia and I come from wherever, Togo, and you can have a wonderful. I'm not going there at all. I'm just saying that just understand what a marriage is about. All right. So let us say you're going early, right? So 24, 25, you're married, right? What is happening there is that 50 years of existence collides. You understand where I'm going with that? That when we go, so I'm bringing 25 years of my thing, you are bringing your 25 years, and automatically, like magic, everything is supposed to work out nicely and smoothly, and we just get along. It can, but again, it needs some thought before. And the more baggage we bring into the process, is the greater the challenge for the thing to work out. Yeah, that's all I'm saying to you. So think about it. Think about it. I'm going to get myself in trouble, but I'm going there. Right. So here's the other thing now. Check the family history. Right.
Oh Lord, help us now.
Check the family.
The
Let's
family
check the
history.
family history.
All right. So the family. Let me give you an idea. Let me talk about this now. So you get invited, right? So Christmas or whatever, some event, and you get invited, right? So the two of you are there. You're still dating, you're not married, whatever it is. So you're at Paul's place, and then Paul says, "I want you to meet Racquel, and this is Aunt Mavis, and where is Aunt Mavis's husband?" Well, them separate long time, or maybe them, Aunt Mavis shack up. Yeah. So when you go through Paul's family, there's no example of a relationship that has stood the time. Is that something that somebody should think about or not? So I'm just saying, maybe I am creating problems. I'm just suggesting, though, that if then The first day you and Raquel have a fuss, or you for your family is going to say, no, man, come home, leave it. You understand? Because you don't have anybody that would say, where you going with your bag? Go back and go work out your marriage. Yeah, you see where I'm going. I hope that I'm
Yeah,
making
yeah,
sense.
yeah. That's true. That's true. That's
That
true.
family circle and that close. Also, you can look at the friends. Yes, yeah. What is the position? Yeah, if
As you said, as a stick stick up in there, brother Smith.
go ahead,
Stick up in right there. I have to jump on that point.
please.
One what as initially you had talked about you know the family history and so is important, and just what you mentioned a while ago, even the circle of friends, and we spoke about respecting the institution of marriage, and one I can point out even in my own early life before meeting Raquel and stuff. I realized that my outlook on family life and marriage was actually driven a lot by the crowd that I moved with. And when I look back at that now, many years later, I realized that um, uh, quite a few other persons that I had, friendships with when I was younger, were either not married, had several baby mothers, and didn't see marriage as a viable institution. And I realized that I was actually thinking along that very same line, and so even when I do marriage workshops, no, one of the things that I always point out is that before 26 years old, I had absolutely no intention of getting married, because there were not a lot of good examples of healthy marital relationships in my life, even growing up. And then it is actually becoming a Christian and start going to worship and so forth that actually helped change that for me. So your circle of influence is very, very important.
Yeah, yeah, going there. I don't. I didn't reach there fully yet. All right, Raquel.
Brother Dex, one moment, Brother Dexter, you want to add a comment or we can proceed?
You can throw stones in the chat, please. I mean, anybody that's saying, where did they get this man from to come and talk this foolishness? Please.
Okay, okay.
All right, so let me look at another one. How comfortable? I think this is number 6. So anybody who was talking about the money, see, it's not as important. All right, how comfortable with each are the families, right? So let me give you a joke, Paul. Um, so you come to visit Raquel at her home, and suddenly, everybody have somewhere to go. So I need to go the car key. Oh, I need to go and pick up. So how comfortable are they with you? Yeah, are they happy to see you? Really? Let us say
Yeah.
one day you go to visit, and Raquel is not there. What you do? Can sit down and rap and reason with them, because these are going to be your people going forward. So that is something that you have to see.
Yes.
If they can't bear being with you, that's a pressure on the marriage. We're looking at lasting relationship. Yeah. And then also, can you stand them? Do you like them? Yeah. Yeah. You know, suppose she has a brother or
Yes.
that detests you, and yeah. And am I saying then don't? I don't know. I'm just saying to take those things into consideration though. Yeah. There was a
Hmm.
famous marriage in Jamaica, where somebody from one of the rich families wanted to marry, and it was written out of the will. Move out of the business, have to go do his thing. I think people might know who that is. But I'm just saying to you that you are then really betting on the strength of the relationship to be able to withstand that. Yeah? Because when your father or your mother kind of write you off,
Hmm.
it's not so easy. So those things are important. Right? So again, I'm not discouraging marriages. It's a wonderful
Wow.
institution. People should actually get married. I want people to get married. Because life in marriage is beautiful. It's wonderful. But only when it works well. If it doesn't work well and you're a Christian and
Yes.
you have concerns about divorce and you're living, you're 25, 30, and you have 40 more years of your life, what you do? So make the right choice. Yeah?
So prepare
That's
well. So prepare well.
prepare well.
Right, and right, and this is one of the place that we are trying to uh give information so persons can prepare well. You
Yeah.
know, definitely,
So
definitely.
please, I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm trying to encourage you. Please, it's a great thing. If you're thinking about it, or if you have some kind of a intention, go for it. Go for it. It's a wonderful institution. And by the way, let me go back to the money thing.
Hmm.
Two can live um, almost for the same price as one. So the money don't make me frighten you. Just have an idea though how you make it work. Let's move on to another thing. I want to shift kind of bit to understand the person a little bit more. So we have been talking about the institution and we're talking about the family around it. But what about the individual now? This is somebody that you're going to be living with, somebody that you're going to be working with. Domestic violence is a huge problem, right? So what are some of the things that we can do?
Hmm.
And this is about how do they handle conflict. Yeah? There are some questions that we can
Yes,
ask.
that's true.
For example, if we're going to go, let us say we have to choose to go to dinner. We're going to dinner somewhere. Um, does the husband, or no, the potential husband, have to control, have to decide? Always, they are going to decide where you're going to eat and what it is that you have to eat. Had dinner recently with somebody and he was laughing. He's saying, okay, fine, I take the menu, and go on like I'm choosing something. But I know that my partner will decide what it is that I'm eating. So you have to watch those things and to find, in the relationship, check out things before because ultimately that is what's going to manifest itself afterwards. You're going to be controlled if you don't, you watch it. Here's a simple thing as well. How do we deal with conflict in terms of anger management? Yeah, is there
Yeah.
a
True.
scratch? Is there a
Yeah.
scratch, a slap, or whatever it is? There is another famous case where the person
A little
came
more
up in a
volume.
divorce thing. There was a big case in terms of playing. This gentleman was brought before court and he was praying. He actually broke the lady's arm. So I'm just saying, is
While
that
playing.
playing? Yeah, supposedly play,
Oh,
play, play. Supposedly. But that was the defense. That was the defense. And we were just playing. But what I'm just saying to you, watch for those things.
Uh-huh.
Look for signs of how do you respond to conflict? How do you, when there's an issue coming up, if you're angry, how do you deal with it? Because that is the foundation
Hmm.
for domestic violence in the future. Yeah. I don't know if you saw in the
Yeah,
news last
that's
night
true.
where this
That's true.
Jamaican was
That's
tied up,
true.
the lady tied up, barricade up the door. But even in Jamaica here, the guy had a young lady in his dorm, burning her with. So there's a sense sometimes that you go into a relationship where the man think he owns you, that you're property, right?
Yeah.
You have to watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
If
That's
you're
true.
owned from before, why wouldn't he think that he owns you after he put on the ring? So I'm just saying to you is watch out for that. Then the
Uh,
question
and Brother Smith, even how they handle conflict with others too is important.
critical, critical. Just see how
Yeah.
the person behaves. Right.
Because in hold on in the initial stages of the relationship, when in that early stage, persons will
Lost you. Lost you, brother Paul.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I muted a while ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, man, I'm coming back now. Even how they interact with other persons who they have conflicts with is very important, because that person might treat you well if they have a conflict with you, but they might not treat another person well having a conflict with them,
Mhm.
and usually that is really a spillover of who they really are. They might be just putting on a show for you because they want the best out of the relationship then, but what is going to happen in the future?
Mm.
Exactly.
So that's a red flag. That would be a red flag.
Absolutely.
A
Yeah,
sure
that is a serious red flag.
red flag. A warning. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Take time to know her. Take time to know him. All right. Um. I'm looking back at this thing and I'm smiling. And this is like, I don't know. This was written like what, 20 years ago, maybe, but it's so
About 20 years ago.
maybe. All right. So listen to this now. Does he or she play fair? All right. So somebody's listening, and somebody's saying this person is too cynical. This person is ridiculous. You're telling me when I'm dating, I'm to be watching this and looking out for this and so on. No, that's ridiculous. Nobody can live like that. And I've got this kind of pushback, by the way. Sometimes they ask me to, speak at some of these
Mhm.
things, share some of these things, and people are saying, no, that's too cynical. I'm having my phone. I must watch him to see whatever. Yeah, okay. Maybe you don't want to, but at the end of the day, if you do these things, you're more likely to end up in a stable, long-lasting marriage. So, what about playing when you play games, etc.? Yeah, is there a win at all costs? You know, is that weird? Is the person willing to cheat? So let us say you're even doing a Scrabble thing, or what is it? Monopoly? Do you see signs of dishonesty? That's the question I'm asking you. Yeah, and if you lose, you know, is there upset and push back and miserable? Yeah. And if they win, they also good and beat down, and I'm saying games, you know, games tell you a lot about a person. And that is one of the things that I think that
Yes, that's true. That is true.
play some games.
Play some
Whether it is
games. Play
yeah,
some games.
whether it is house games or whatever, just play games. You learn a lot, a lot. Games tell you a lot about an individual. Right?
I have an idea, Brother Smith, that you just gave me a while ago. Raquel, probably in our counseling couples, we can probably use
Use the
Absolutely.
games.
games as one of the counseling sessions. just bring in a game without them even knowing, and see and see how the responses are.
Yeah,
Quite
yeah,
useful. Quite
yeah,
insightful.
yeah,
And
yeah,
exactly. You don't have to go to a counseling session
Yes, sir.
to
Good
know these
stuff. Good
things.
stuff.
yeah. Tells you a lot. It tells you,
Yes.
how it is, etc. But kind of make it casual though, because they might be putting on a thing, but when they are relaxed and so on, you'll be surprised to see
Hmm.
how little things, whatever it is, they don't want to lose, they don't want to this. And if they're winning, how they behave, it tells you quite a
It
lot.
gives you a lot of insight.
Yeah. The other thing about it though is that remember that once you are married, you're going to have time together. So it goes back now to the question of the interest. Well, I haven't gone there yet, but if they can play games together and enjoy it, etc., then that's part of the bonding. That's part of the bonding. You don't have to necessarily go
Yes.
out, etc. So the more things that they can do together, that they enjoy together, um, the better for the relationship. So that is why I want to look at that.
Yes.
If the
True.
person is saying, "Well, I'm gonna play games and this, whatever." So maybe. what is it that we want to do together then? All right. All right. So, having thrown out the Coca Cola, I'm landing, right? On this, on the six pack. I want to come back to it because um, I hope there are only adults listening to us,
Yes.
because that's something that is important. Is there chemistry? Yes,
Yes, it's
physical
their
chemistry.
chemistry.
Are they physically attracted to each other? Yeah.
Mhm.
So is there excitement when you come together, and the body can tell you how excited you are. You can feel it in different places. Put it this way,
Yes.
all right? So is there that? Is there that? Because that is part of um, what will make the relationship work, is that physical attraction and the chemistry that is there. So that's a question that you have. So I'm not just the business person now. So not take that out. Take that off my list. I'm not just saying money. I'm saying also, what about it? Um, how compatible are you physically? Now, having said that, that might have opened the door to somebody to say, oh, so if that is important, then I need to do a test drive. No, no sampling. No sampling. No
No
sampling.
sampling.
No sampling. Let me tell you one of the reasons why I'm saying no sampling. Well, apart from clearly that it is not prescribed in the Bible, is that if you just look at the number of single mothers that there are, yeah, who never got married, you would realize that the sampling thing don't necessarily work out. It's not a guarantee of buy, you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's
So
true.
sometimes you go to the market and the person might say, you want to try one? Sample it, but you don't necessarily mean you're going to buy it, right? And so all I'm just suggesting is do not. Um, really going deep in a hole now, trust me, really go there though. All right. So we go to the car showroom, right?
Hmm.
And there's a brand new Benz on the shop floor. Yeah? They sometimes have a demonstration plate that you can put on the car and you test it out, whatever it is. Once you have done that and the car comes back inside, um, is the value the same?
Very good question.
And
The
that's
novelty,
what I want to hear Paul
the
answer the question.
novelty is not the
I
same.
want Paul to come on and talk to me about this. Is the value the same?
No, it isn't. Begins to depreciate right away.
Okay. Um, so
You know,
I don't know.
that's a good
Can you
that's a good
can you
example.
develop that point for me, please? Yeah,
You, people talk about that you shouldn't if you about the cow and the calf.
explain it. I don't know that story. Educate me.
Is it the cow and the calf, Paul? You don't want to, or am I using the wrong expression?
I
No,
trying to remember. Is the same one of the you don't buy puss in bag or something
don't
like
buy
that?
don't buy pussy in bag, and that we don't subscribe to that.
Yeah, I hear that, but I'm just saying to you, um, men, and I don't know, Paul, if you would agree with me, but men would prefer to have one of the cars that have not been demonstrated, that have not, Would you agree with that, Paul? That
Yeah.
most
Yes. Definitely.
that
Definitely.
most
Yeah.
most
True.
men
True.
would
True.
prefer
True.
to be the first owner, right? Yes, I know.
Yes. That's true. That is true.
All right, so but it is the men that, well, I suppose no, that used to be, and that is like maybe 40 years ago, 30 years ago, that the men used to be the one that want to test drive. Now there's no. I think it's probably more on the women now that seem to uh, more younger, seem to be more um, willing to provide um, the sampling. But yeah, it's not the best idea. That's all I can say to you. If we're looking at lasting, then that is not necessarily setting up a platform for lasting. Can work, and that's, I'm just saying, is a risk, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. I think I'm at number
And
10, and I'm done
there's,
after
I
this.
just want to, make the point that there's value in remaining chaste, for both men and women. But a number
Amen.
of people, think that, they
Amen.
mock each other and they make fun of each other. You're still a virgin, you know,
Yeah.
at this
Yep.
day, in this day and age.
Yep.
But it's still a wonderful thing to remain chaste until the right time. But because it's not glorified,
It's
but it's
a
it's
harder sell.
yes, but it
All right.
still makes a positive difference in as you're talking about, even in the lasting relationships, it still make a positive difference.
Okay. All right. So last of the set of things I want to share would be common interest now. So we're looking at that. How many share the interest? Because if you're going to share a lifetime together, um, kind of need to have some things that both of you are interested in. So you need to look at that. Yeah.
Mhm.
What is it? What are you liking? What do you do? That's why I'm telling you, we need to talk before, you need to have clarity, need to have discussion so the person can say, yeah, you know, yeah, I like this kind of music, I like this kind of whatever. So we have some discussion. Uh, One of the things that I'm talking about, having a open mind, but also watching and observing, because this is somebody that you're going into a partnership with. So um, just meet John, and I'm going to take John into my business as a partner. Um, and I'm not even going to check his LinkedIn or his Facebook profile or try to find out something about him. Hmm? Really? An investment,
Mhm.
business partner, where I'm not having to spend 24/7 with him, sit beside him, whatever. No, man. No. We need to
Hmm.
be a little bit more conscious about that. So one of the things that we want to look at then is, when we talk about interest, etc., is the person close? They only want to do one thing, or if you come with some new idea, no, that's it. That I don't like that. That don't make any sense, or this, whatever. And they shut down everything, basically. Um, you're gonna have a problem eventually because it's going to be boring. If you want to hear the ultimate test, the ultimate test. All right, maybe I should have this as um, a prize. Ultimate test for any young person here, whatever it is um, see how long the conversation can go when you are not beside each other, where you can power on each other, etc. Right? So if you have a friend, a relationship that is going, and you realize that, let us say you're buying credit, and your credit always run out when you're talking together, man, you're a hit. You can deal with that. That's a week. That that is a friend. That is somebody that you can deal with. However, on the other hand, when you're not together, it is, yeah. So everything is all right then. Uh, all right. So you're okay then, and you don't have nothing to say to each
Yeah.
other. This conversation where you want it to done, but you are the one finishing it. So everything is all right then. Yeah? So absolutely nothing to say. That is a problem. That is a problem. And yet, still, when you are together, you can't keep your hands off each other.
Hmm.
That, all I'm just saying to you is watch it. But the winning key is the one where, believe you me, you run out of credit. Oh my gosh. And if I realize it's so long, or you miss appointment because the conversation is you're connected, you're talking, and I realize that, hour gone, etc. Those relationships stand the chance of succeeding, because what it means is that uh, there's a connection.
You
This
have a
can be a
connection.
friend. Yeah.
A
And when you
strong
get
connection.
yeah, and yeah, it can be a friend, and you have things that you can talk about. You're not bubbling around. You can move from subject to subject. You're there. That is the ultimate test factor for me as to whether a relationship can stand. Um, the test of time is when people can actually converse, can actually connect, talk, and because they have so many interests and they can find things that they can go and do together. Right? And it's not make up. They can, yeah, we can go watch a game of football and somebody understand it. They didn't understand cricket or so. That's one of the things I'm telling my children. Have an interest, learn sports, do what because sports is big business. If you want to have relationships, learn these things, get interested, see what is happening over here, listen to somebody news, read things, have an interest in what's happening in life. Because at some point in time, it's going to make you a better conversationalist. And you're going to need conversation as you move up in age.
Brother Smith, as you said that a while ago, something came to me. What about the element of having a willingness to be involved in each other's worlds? Because sometimes I might have an interest, but Racquel is not a sports fan, but I am a sports fan. But the fact that Racquel doesn't like sports doesn't mean that Racquel can't be, have an interest in my world. Racquel likes to do stuff that I don't like to do, but I will share in that space with her because it is what helps the relationship to grow. And as a matter of fact, I may even get to like it by being involved in it. So how important is that that element of being willing to be involved in each other's space.
Very, very critical. Because that is part of the connection. Otherwise, it basically going to grow apart, right?
Yeah.
And so on. And that I think that is important. So um, men, you know, kitchen get into the thing. Even somebody, at one point in time, I don't. It's not crochet. The other one, like needle point or something like that. What I'm not saying to you is have an
Go
interest in
go
other
go
space.
shop go shopping for shoes.
Okay. That's a little hard, but
That's a challenge for you. You're married, you see?
that's a
You're
little
married for
hard.
50 years, so maybe it
You
wouldn't
still have
like
to do
you.
it. You still have to do it. But yeah, yeah. And sit at it, sit, no matter what around, whatever it is. Um, and that's a high risk one, by the way, because you're going to see the person come with two different shoes, and which one you prefer. And
No, you. Yeah, Paul can relate. Paul can relate to that one.
Yes, brother Smith, you spend you spend a whole day looking for shoes and no shoes was bought. None. And you spend the entire day going from store to store looking for shoes.
yeah, but
And at 6 o'clock, the lady says, "You know that I have a shoes at home I can wear."
But you were there with me
it's
for
not
the
the
whole
right
time,
shoe,
and that was
boss.
the
It's not the
connection.
right shoe. I'm not going to buy this wrong shoe. No, no, I'm not going to buy the wrong shoe. So, but yeah,
Yes.
let's share.
A very interesting discussion. Very interesting.
Yeah. So yeah. So yeah. Any questions? Any of the audience have questions? Clarity as to somebody
No,
Zimbabwe.
no questions. But it has been an very interesting discussion. Um, th- those things, Brother Smith and Raquel, are are fundamental to a lasting relationship. But yet, these are the things that people don't spend a lot of time talking about. As a matter of fact, and I have changed my position on this for several reasons. The whole thing of even marriage counseling, where the average couple that gets married does not get beyond 6 sessions of premarital counseling.
Oh,
I think that is one of the reasons why we have a lot of persons either experiencing failed marriages or not enjoying their marital relationship the way that they should. As a matter of fact, Raquel and I have been discussing. I'm an advocate for premarital counseling, but I'm also an advocate for postmarital counseling because I honestly believe that the bulk of the challenges that occur will happen after the wedding day, and that is when the adjustment period becomes the reality, your new reality, and you the conflicts and everything. You're getting used to this person, you're seeing this person for basically the first time operating as their real self. And so I think that postmarital counseling is important, but premarital counseling is also very important. And I find Brother Smith and Raquel that people just skip over many of these things. And even to the point sometimes when a counselor wants to discuss these things, um,
The
you
resistance.
sometimes you even get resistance in the counseling session.
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah, for sure. I don't do counseling. Thank heavens. But I'm 100% sure that if I were considering a couple, I could never raise up all of these things. They would shut me down long time. But I never they would tell me, what are you doing? What are you saying to me? We are at this point. I know this person. I wouldn't get very far. I
No,
can't get very far.
actually,
Mm.
actually, you know, I don't necessarily agree that you would get far. It's those are so the points that the ten points that you shared, that checklist. We definitely we'll be sharing those points with maybe we'll put it in the chat or we'll send out something afterwards. We're happy that Pauline Tate and we have Joyce Evans Wait who are commenting there about giving great feedback. Pauline spoke about this. She was commenting on the element of teenagers laughing when the peers say that they are still virgin. Joyce says that great points, very crucial. There needs to be more opportunity for individuals to hear these things. And so, Brother Smith, you know, uh, uh, you say you're not a counselor, but you're part of leadership, and people come to you for advice, and it's important because we don't want persons to marry in haste and what was that expression, Paul? Marry in haste and repent.
Mm.
Marrying haste and repent at leisure.
Yes, and we definitely don't want that. And we're talking about lasting relationships. We want the marriage to last. And in order for the marriage to last, it's important that person take the point to think and to hear about these things. Joyce is agreeing with us that counseling is a great avenue, but how could you help those individuals who are not exposed to these sessions or to those sessions in terms of counseling? And that's why we have this is an open forum. First, you can tell your friends, you can watch the rebroadcast, because this is an opportunity that we are putting out, that persons can be exposed, because sometimes people are afraid. And I've always told persons that the fact that you're engaged doesn't mean that you can't change your mind. You don't have to go ahead with the wedding. If having gone through premarital counseling, if having done that research, you talk about checking the family history, Brother Smith, you're talking about um how you relate to the family. If you do all of those research and you're not satisfied, or you want to wait, or you want to change your mind, it is that time of the day when you can, because you have not yet made the commitment to say, I do. I'm very, very, very big on that. Having been engaged doesn't mean that you have to continue to go into the marriage. The point of courtship and engagement and
Yeah,
courtship, that gives you the opportunity to do some research, to contemplate, to make up your mind through prayer, through guidance, and decide, do you want to take the big step, or you want to step back
yeah.
and think again.
And Raquel, you said something a while ago, which I want to pick up even as we're winding down.
Yeah.
A lot of persons would probably change their minds about getting married if the wedding date wasn't set already.
Yes.
I find that a lot of persons go through the actual wedding to the wedding date because they feel kind of trapped about changing their minds, and a lot of it has to do with, you know, the expectations of family coming, comes flying down from abroad, people, you know, money being spent for the wedding, and sometimes, you know, most times it is non-refundable, and
Mhm.
you know, persons will literally see signs that, you know, pending danger is ahead, but because the wedding date is set and things are in motion, changing my mind, is going to put me in a very bad light. And that's one of the reasons why I encourage persons, before you get to setting the wedding date, make sure that you are in counseling. Make
Yeah.
sure that it's I remember when Racquel and I were getting married, we were counseled for 1 year by two different counselors. One a member of the church and the other person outside of the church. And I remember in those counseling sessions, there are times, I mean, both of us were Christians, both of us had the long conversations and the serious conversations. And I remember in some of those counseling sessions, I had to ask myself the question: do I really want to get married? And that is after being counseled a year. So it helps. It helps. And we didn't set our wedding date until we were probably about 6 or so months into the counseling.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So those things are important.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. I want to just add something. Maybe it might sound commercial, so
A
didn't want to
little bit
bring it
more
before.
volume. A little more volume.
Yeah, I want to add something. I just want to put it on the table. I didn't want to bring it in before because I didn't want it to sound commercial. But there's a possibility as well of doing a behavioral assessment where you can actually get more objective things. So the two of you
Yes, sir.
do the assessment and
Yes, sir.
you get something. So um, you can talk to Raquel and Paul about that, where they can organize it to
Yes.
have have you complete the behavioral
And
assessment. Yeah.
yes,
Yes.
that's right. And brother Smith, I remember Racken and I did that behavioral
Absolutely.
assessment before we got married,
Yeah.
and it helped not only before we got married, but it actually helped even when we had some conflicts after we got married.
Yeah,
We
man.
had to revert to looking back at those
Mhm.
at the results of the assessment behavioral assessments that we did, and I mean it gave us insight into some of the things that we were going through. So yeah, it's not it's a commercial, brother, but it's all right. Right? But yeah, very important. I would encourage all couples, getting, if you are getting married, before the wedding date, do some kind of behavioral assessment, because it is critical. Those them components that that we often overlook. The different types of personalities that we are. I mean, it actually helps. It does.
Yeah.
I am sold on that, brother Smith.
Yeah. So talk to Paul and Raquel about extended disk, right? So that's the solution that we use. So it's extended disk.
Yes,
Paul and Raquel can
very
organize it. Yeah.
very good, very good.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
thank
So
you.
thanks for your time. Probably I've got you
Yes,
guys in trouble, but it's okay.
yes, sir. You are. We are happy to have had you, and we are glad that you carve out some time for us to give us some of your wisdom.
Paul, I'm not sure if you want to just repeat the email address if persons have an interest in the
Come on,
extended
because
list.
you're through you.
No man, I'm Paul. There's an email address that we
Oh, okay, okay,
that
sorry.
we
Okay.
that we can, if persons
Okay.
have interest, they can send an email to us if they have an interest, or if they have any questions or any comments. They can send that email address to. They can email us.
All right.
We will take it from there.
Yes, if you have questions, any questions about even any other programs that we have done before, you can email us at levelupyourmarriagecoc@gmail.com. One word, levelupyourmarriagecoc@gmail.com, and we will respond to your email in a short time. Tonight has been a wonderful night, wonderful discussion, even despite the challenges that we have had. And we want to thank Trevor Smith, Brother Trevor Smith, for being a part of our discussion tonight and giving us, his insight and experience. Man has been married for what? 50, is 50, 50 how much years, Brother Smith?
No,
50,
yeah, yeah,
50.
yeah. 16.
You want to reverse it on us?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a joke, yeah, man. Yeah, man. 15.
Yeah, we are really indeed very very happy to have had you on the program to share with us and to share with our audience. I think there are many nuggets that came from this discussion. Always thanking the beautiful Raquel, my partner in life, to be a part of this forum. And we are going to level up your marriage um, beyond many boundaries. And this is a great start to something, and we want to really continue to do a lot more work where marriage is concerned, because we still believe that the institution of marriage is still very much important to God, and it is also important to the survival of the church. Want to also thank our audience who have been with us tonight and who has have been with us throughout, who have always been on the program. Pauline Tate, Joyce Evans, and all the other persons who have been with us since the program started. We want to wish you a very good night, and ask you to join us again for the next time when we have the discussion Leveling Up Your Marriage. Good night.
Good night.
They can never take the love out.